Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll be back.
I'll have what she's having.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello, I'm your host Jim McLean. Welcome back to another episode of the NI Cine. It's just myself in this recording because my lovely co-host Adam Neeson is otherwise engaged, but he will be back for our Halloween special, which drops, unsurprisingly, on Halloween night, and that's a lot of fun, so you've got that to look forward to. But on this recording, it's the first in a series of special episodes dedicated to the Belfast Film Festival. It kicks off in the city on the 30th of October and runs until the 8th of November with a series of special screenings and events. Also a ton of guests come into this year's lineup, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And to kick it all off, earlier this week I got a chance to speak with the film's head programmer, Rose Baker. But before you hear that interview, which was recorded over Zoom, let's have a listen at this year's trailer.
What do you know about that?
Run, don't walk.
Jesus, fuck.
Where did you get that from? None of your business.
A curse.
Like a real curse?
Like someone cursed the shit out of you.
What?
Bon, vous voulez voir si tout se passait bien?
De l'aventure. Une cascade.
Hey, we just got home and you would not believe
You got us to the World Cup.
You're unmanageable.
No, it's you that can't manage. That's the problem.
So that's a clip of the trailer for this year's Belfast Film Festival, 25 years. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined now by the lead programmer, Rose Baker. Rose, hello, how are you? How are we at this stage as we get ready? We're just days away from the opening night for this year's festival.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jim. Yeah, things are going well. Thanks. Yeah, we're all excited to get started.
Yeah, there's loads to get through, and as I always say, anytime I talk to yourselves, anyone from the festival, there's no way we're going to get through with you anyway in this interview the entire program. You just told me before we started to record, you've written the program, so of course you could go through every single thing, but you don't have the time because you're busy. Rose, give us a taste. I mean, we have the opening night, we have Die My Love, Lynn Ramsey's directed feature, a lot of, at this stage, awards buzz already. We have Jennifer Lawrence, we have Robert Pattinson in the leading roles. That's our opening. So take us from there, from the opening night for the festival to the first few days specifically, before we get into talking about big things like Lucy Liu.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot on the opening weekend. It is actually going to be quite a busy weekend. It generally is, I have to say, at the festival. Of course, we do have, I should mention that there is a local angle on Die My Love, which is the cinematographer Seamus McGarvey, Oscar nominated, who's obviously from Antrim. So, it's really nice that there's that element as well for the opening film. The weekend we have another great local film that's premiering on, it's like the Northern Ireland premiere of Aintus, Irish language heist movie by Damien McCann, co-written with Sarah Gordon. And that is going to be on Friday night. It's going to be a really good night. Really excited to show another one of Damien McCann's films. We're great supporters of his work at the festival. And it's a great Irish language thriller. It's kind of done in the kind of Christopher Nolan kind of style, this kind of backwards narrative. It's really clever. It's funny. There's a lot of twists and turns. So yeah, so that is going to be a really great film. And then on Saturday, we have our what we call our long short weekend. So it's where we focus on the short films, and we have our short film competition on Saturday, followed by the out of competition shorts, which are on Sunday. And so they're just always really great screenings, really packed full. There's just so many great films, and the quality really increases year on year. I know I always say this, and it just
But
sounds like this
it's
is
true
something I
because
say every year, but it is true. Like,
it is
really
true. It is true. As someone who, we program a festival too. We have the shorts, the Irish and the international, and every year you come back and you go, all right, what am I going to see? And it's not just one or two. You can see the improvement. You can see what the legacy of the kind of how the industry has improved here, and you see that within the talent. There's loads I want to talk to you about, but just because you mentioned Irish language, and last year we had, I always get the name wrong, I'll pull it, Freewalker. We had that. We've had yes, my heathen pronunciations, but we've seen that now within the festival that there's now on an annual basis Irish language features. How for you? I mean, it's not just the Belfast Film Festival. We see it at Galway, etc. But from a programming point of view, to see not only to be able to see that talent coming through, giving it a platform, but supporting it and finding it and helping it find an audience here in Belfast.
Well, absolutely. And there really is an audience here in Belfast. The Irish language community is like growing and is very robust. And it's definitely, but as you can see, like with Irish language cinema, like it is increasingly visible as something that people can just go and see. And like the success of, the and Colleen Keown, Quiet Girl, a few years ago, like that was a small film that just went, stratospheric, and so like there is a real audience for that kind of cinema. Of course, it's a lot to do with like the people making the films. We also have a very healthy local, like sort of northern Irish language cinema, sort of like almost like a little wave of new filmmakers here and writers. And of course, Damien McCann, who I've mentioned, whose film is screening at the festival, is a big part of that, because his last film, Dinion, also screened at the festival, and went on to have a great audience on the BBC. It was on iPlayer. In fact, it might still be there. And so there is a big audience for those kinds of almost sort of Nordic thrillers, But then, of course, there's Aisling Clarke as well. She's also based here in the north, and exactly as you mentioned, her film Freewalker, her horror film, in the Irish language, opened the festival last year. So we're just really lucky here to have these people who are making these films, and that there is an audience for it as well. It's sort of becoming like it's not really niche. People aren't put off. It's actually maybe even a really nice selling point. It's like people want to engage with the language. So, and cinema is a really good way to do that. So yeah, I mean, I'd say, it's actually kind of exciting. It's an exciting part of programming for the festival for sure.
I think you talked about Nordic noir. I think I've kind of dubbed it before Culture noir, but I know that's kind of slightly different. But yeah, I mean, we talk about this with world cinema, and I know the Belfast Film Festival has a legacy and a history of championing world cinema, and people should never be put off by the inch-high barrier. That
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And like, that's it. Like, we program every year a various array of languages, like it's obviously something that that's what we do. We show international cinema, and of course there are different languages there, and like if we just don't see it as a barrier. It's yeah, I mean, I think we're quite lucky, I think, here in like the English speaking world, in which like we don't dub movies here. I think it's actually a plus that we have subtitles and we have the original language, the original version of the film, because I think you actually gain more from that actually than dubbing. I think something is a little bit lost in dubbing, But I know dubbing is sort of increasing on Netflix and stuff like that, and it is an option, especially in the Korean sort of TV. But yeah, I think something is a bit lost in that. But I mean, that's another conversation, I suppose.
You're preaching to the converted, Rose. You're preaching to the converted in that front. As I say, go back to that phrase. Don't be put off by the inch high barrier. But you've mentioned there. You mentioned about local, and we talked about international. Of course, the film festival is always going to champion local talent. It's got a history of that, as we mentioned, because this is a running theme throughout this interview, legacy and history, because it's, I guess, what it becomes the 25th festival. It's right that you take pause, reflect, and look what's been and gone, and look to the future. But you still, front and centre, you still have as much. You've got the big international. You've mentioned some of the big events that are happening. I am holding off. I'm not going to talk about Lucy Liu just yet. But you have the NI Independence, which is a section of the fest. There's two sections of the festival I've always loved over the years: NI Independence and Altered States. Now that says more about me, I guess, the second one. And there's a couple of features I know within Altered States I have had the pleasure of already seeing and love, particularly one film. I'm not sure if I can say the name, but fuck toy. There we go. I said it. I said I said the bad word, Rose, so you don't have to say.
That's what it's called. I mean, that's what the film is called.
I know. And Dead Lovers are the one I saw. I saw it at Edinburgh International Film Festival and loved it. So, I mean, there's still the older strands of the festival that are there and going strong. But I guess, before I kind of transgressed off of my little ramble, the NI Independence is still such a big part of the programme.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a really popular part of the program, and we, of course, love to program it is basically very independent, low budget, locally produced films. So we are, it's a big part of what we do. Like, we show films that are made locally, and there are some great ones in the program this year. I'm really pleased that House Trackers is in the program this year. It's great. Local film, and we've the other ones as well, Office Politics. So we're really pleased to be able to screen films like that, and it just wouldn't be the festival without it. They always get a really good crowd. There's loads of buzz. It's really exciting, and it's just every one of those screenings is just a great night. So it's really nice that once again we have them in the program. You were talking about Altered States, and we've actually reinstated Altered States this year. So it hasn't been in the program for a few years. Also, TV.
I didn't want to bring that up, Rose. Didn't want to bring that up.
I'm happy to bring it up. I'm happy to. Like Altered States, I feel is another. That is kind of what the Belfast Film Festival is as well. We have our new cinema. We have we have great works by international auteurs, but we also have Altered States, which is stuff that is a little bit offbeat, a little bit weirder, and it's just really nice to have that in the program again. We have had those films in the program of the last years, but I think it's really nice just to put them in that section again. But also TVI is back, so we have TVI is a long running section of the program, and it just is a space to explore TV heritage. It's TVI, and it's we have a unique kind of cultural audiovisual heritage and media heritage here in Northern Ireland, in particular in this part of the world. So it's just a really great space to explore that, and show some very rare stuff to audiences, and play around with TV, on a big screen.
Yeah, it's a part of the program I think over the year. I think there was a big showcase of Brass Eye many years ago, or a documentary about Brass Eye, which I remember absolutely loving. Now, we've mentioned this, and I'm still going to hold off talking about Lucy Liu. I'm going to hold off, Rose, because I mean that is the reason why. That is one aspect of this year's fest, a very big and important part for yourselves. Undoubtedly, kudos to having that caliber of guests here in Belfast, and getting an opportunity for not just audiences but filmmakers and people who are looking within the industry here who want to see it as a career, having that person there in front of them. It's important, but I think that's why I wanted to keep it, because all the other things we've talked about are just as important. But we are talking about the 25th anniversary of the festival. And I'm going to ask a question just for yourself. And I asked you just before we started to record. I mean, for yourself, I've known you for quite a few years now, Rose, but how long have you, off the top of your head, have you been involved with the festival, and how have you seen your role? Well, we've seen your role to where you are now, but how have you seen the festival develop in that time? And have you I'm going to ask you loads of questions all at once because it's what I do. Apologies. But have you, when you look back, what are the things that you think of when you are in that stage of reflecting, wow, 25 years at Belfast Film Festival, what are the things that come to mind for you during your time?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's an interesting question. Like, I started in about 2014, I think. I was actually trying to work this out recently. So I used to run with my friend Richard. I used to do this thing called Film Goer, which was like a pop-up.
Richard Davis, formerly from this parish. Yes, we know him well.
Exactly. And so yeah, like he and I used to put on pop-up screenings as part of this thing, Film Goer, that we did. And so we did those all over the place, but then Stephen
I think was one of them Videodrome, if I remember.
Yeah, we showed Videodrome on
VHS.
Yeah, it was a video and we found a video player and we put that on in the menagerie. Yeah, so like we did a few those kinds of things, exactly, like playing with the form, but we were invited to do one within the festival program, and it was the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou on the barge. And then we had like a DJ, and we really went for the whole kind of on the barge thing, dressing up like, we all had our red beanies on, and
I remember it well. I remember Richard being very much in his element. Richard Davis likes Wes Anderson. Shock. And for anyone who doesn't know Richard, that reference is lost, but he is a fan of Wes Anderson.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it was really good night, it was really fun. So then so after that, I started doing screenings in the Beanbag Cinema, the film festival's Beanbag Cinema, every late night art, and I called it late night art film. And so I was showing like little short art films in that space every month. And then I became the assistant programmer at the festival and did that. And this is a really long, this is probably not that interesting, but yeah.
It is interesting, Rose. It is interesting because there are people here. We always talk about kind of looking at inspirational, like people want to get involved in the film industry and they think about, direct, but being involved in film festival, there's people who are interested in getting involved in that. They want to know your story, Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it is. I've been working at the festival. I suppose the long story short, I've been working at the festival in different guises, like slightly different roles, like slightly different ways, like over the years. Because I was short film programmer for a while, and now I'm a head programmer. So it's sort of been a progression. It's definitely been a progression. But it's been great, and I think the one thing you get asked me, like, what's changed or whatever in the festival over that time. I think it's sort of nice to think of the festival as like something that is sort of existing on a continuum, that is kind of, because everybody you talk to like has particular memories, over the 25 years. I think the whole, making something of the 25th anniversary is actually brought out this kind of connection that people have with the festival and particular programs and the covers. We've done an exhibition of the past festival covers, and they're in the QFT at the moment. And a lot of people have talked about those and how they remember particular aspects of their life depending on which program cover they look at. And I just find that so amazing that like people really connect, with
I have a lot of those programs now. They're in my house, my parents' house in Oma. But I just remember the change from when went from like the longer program to the more kind of what we see now, like the standard kind of book. I have all the kind of nostalgia for that. I love that because I think there was we think of course like there's the Good Vibrations year, but I think it's the year, I can't remember if Shadow Dancer was the year before. I don't have it off the top. I remember having that program. I have that somewhere, the year with Shadow Dancer, because that was one of my early memories of when I came to Belfast, moving up from the big old smoke that is Oma, coming up to the bright lights of Belfast, seeing the festival, and I remember that. I don't know why I have a lot of love for that programme, but yes, a lot of fond memories. Now, we've kind of talked about, and one thing I do want to mention, we're talking to you, Rose, as head programmer. The festival is very much a team. You know, you've got a fantastic team of people working around you, and I'm sure right now, days before the opening night, you are frantically kind of making sure that every fine detail, everything has been planned to perfection. So yes, we're talking to you, but it's a great opportunity to also showcase the team. But I guess we have mentioned this. We have some guests this year coming. One of them happens to be Lucy Liu. For the festival, we think back of previous guests, like I was thinking of John Cusack when he was here a few years ago. There has been quite a few, but that would be the one that I remember. It's like, oh wow, John Cusack's going to be here in Belfast, and I remember being at the movie house, R.I.P., with the lovely Brian Henry Martin taking part in that Q&A. But you know, for Lucy Liu is one guest. How important is it to have her here in the city? How important, you know, what can we expect? And I guess we've also got the likes of Ben Wheatley as well. There's a multitude of guests, I know, but if we can just kind of talk a little bit about that, but then I'll have to let you go.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, I can happily talk about Lucy Liu. I'm so excited that she's coming. It's amazing. What a massive Hollywood figure. Like the films that she's in, everybody has a favorite. Everybody has seen her films. You know, she's a household name.
Now, Rose, you've walked into this question. You mentioned that. So everybody has a favorite. So what's your Lucy Liu favorite?
Well, that's a good question, actually. You know, I really love her performance in Kill Bill. I think it's amazing. But I also recently watched her film from last year, Presence, the Steven Soderbergh film. Yeah. That is brilliant. It's brilliant. You know, it's kind of, if you haven't seen it, it's like a really cool kind of haunted house story of this family that move into this house, and it's told from the perspective of the ghost. You know, so it's like it's a really interesting playing with the form. And Lucy's performance is fantastic in it. So yeah, I mean, you know, and also I love her TV work. You know, I used to watch Ally McBeal, you know, that was her breakout role. And she's been in so many different things over the years. And I just really think she's fantastic. I absolutely love her. So I'm really pleased that she's coming. It's just so great. It's just really, yeah. I hope that answers the question. I'm going a bit fangirl.
No, you're fine. We're allowed to be fangirls. I know our very own Nicole Hamilton. Her exact words were, when we got the press release through about this year's programme, she actually said when we sent it through on our little WhatsApp group for the Banterflix team, she dropped her phone when she saw that it was Lucy Liu. So that gives you an idea. So don't be ashamed, but I know we've touched on this, but having someone like Lucy Liu here, and I guess I made this point earlier on, because I know that was a big thing with John Cusack when he was here, it was getting to meet students and giving them advice in the sense of a pathway. For the festival to have someone like Lucy Liu, not just here for Belfast, aside from that, but being able to then be around the local talent that is here, to speak to them, to have them, that someone who she's going to be doing an in conversation event, they have an opportunity to ask questions, be there to hear her journey. We talked about your journey from the film festival. We'll talk about her journey within the industry. You know, how important is that? I know it's a silly question because I know the answer is going to be it's very important, but having that person here.
Oh, I mean, it's great. Like, I think it's really important. I mean, I think it is great for the local filmmaking community to be able to, in person, listen to somebody with so much insight, so much experience, somebody who has worked in the industry, you know, at a really high level for, that period of time, who's been in these, amazing films, Charlie's Angels, Kill Bill, etc. Like, I think it's really valuable for an audience. I mean, it's really valuable just anyway for the cinema going public who can get this opportunity because, we don't live in a big, glitzy city like London, where people sort of come through all the time. In London, you can go to see somebody like Lucy Liu like every weekend, to be honest. But like in Belfast, it just doesn't happen in the same way. And so it just is one of these unique opportunities to hear from somebody who is, really so such a somebody who really has so much insight into the business, into their own career. It's going to be fascinating. I think I'm actually really looking forward to listening to what she has to say. She's also coming with a film. She's coming with her film Rosemead. She's actually being given the Rialta Award for her performance in Rosemead. And so that is, something that's going to be talked about during the Q&A, making that film, just the process, the difference between making these big glossy Hollywood movies and this independent sort of passion project. And so I think that's going to be really insightful for people in the industry, just like, a range of different modes of filmmaking, her thoughts on all of this, and her process as an actor as well, in these, in over a range of different things. And so I think it's going to be really fascinating. And she actually was in Belfast before. She made a film here called The Old Guy with Christoph Waltz.
Of course you did.
Yeah, and so this isn't even her first time in Belfast. She's actually coming back to Belfast. So
she loved it so much, she's coming back.
Exactly. And I just think that's lovely as well, that she actually will be returning to Belfast, and yeah, maybe we can hear about her, I don't know, her view on Belfast and what she thinks,
How she's seeing it change, what she thinks of the Westicles, has she had a boojum, the important things things that we all want to know. Now, you've mentioned that, and I am going to have to let you go. I know that. I have two more questions, and that usually means I've got about five, but I promise I'll keep them down to two. You've mentioned returning guests, or you've mentioned Lucy Liu returning to Belfast. You have Ben Wheatley, who's been a previous guest at the festival before. He's going to be here. We all love Ben Wheatley. We all absolutely love. He's going to be here. But what are some of the other guests that are going to be at this year's programme that people should be looking out for and getting excited that they have an opportunity to share a cinema seat with them? Not literally, but in the same room.
Barry Ward is coming. Barry Ward, the actor who was in, people may have seen That They May Face the Rising Sun, which came out a couple of years ago. One of the most lovely Irish films I've ever seen, and his performance was absolutely beautiful. And so he is coming with a film which is called On the Sea, and it's the story of a man. It's a Welsh film actually, and it's the story of a man who is a fisherman in coastal Wales, and he's married with a son, and this sort of younger man comes to work on the fishing boats, and they meet, and they form a relationship, and that's it's a really interesting film. It's a love story. It's a complicated love story. And yeah, it's really, again, it's a fantastic performance from Barry Ward, and we're so thrilled that he's actually going to be with us to discuss that performance in the QFT. So that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. We also have filmmaker Stroma Cairns coming. She is coming with her film The Sun and the Sea, and it's a really fantastic film. It has, interestingly, it has characters who are deaf, so there is a BSL within the film, and it's about this young guy who's a bit like sort of lost in his life, and he goes to stay at his relative's house in coastal Scotland, and it's about him kind of meeting these people and just forming this kind of like found family. kind of thing. And it's it's actually really nice film. It's really lovely film. So I would urge people to go to see that one as well. And Stroma will be there to give her insights into the making of that. So that's fantastic too. Other guests. I know we do have other guests. Everything's gone out of my head.
It's the effect, Rose, I have on you. What can I say? I'm just kind of my talk about it's. I think you're too busy still thinking about Lucy Liu.
Oh, sorry. I should say Mark Cousins is going to be with us again.
Well, this is the thing, Rose. I was going to ask this as my very last question. You know, because Mark has I mean, I am a fanboy for Mark Cousins. Mark Cousins, I remember like scene by scene, watching him late night and Newsnight. Every time I speak to him, I become 5 and I'm terrified. I'm going to try to be cool. And I'm not cool because I admit I'm not cool, but I do love Mark Cousins. But Rose, it's just you and me. What can you tell us about Mark Cousins' secret project? He's not going to listen.
Well, yeah, I can't tell you anything. I can't. I really can't. I can't tell you anything.
Rose, what can I say? Well, I'm looking forward to that. Look, this is my very, very last question because, and I know I've asked you this anytime we talk about the festival and it comes around. You hate this question. I know that, but we've talked about some of the big, high-profile stuff. Give us a little hidden gem that someone listening now who is willing to take a punt on a suggestion from the lead programmer for the Belfast Film Festival. What would you say? We've mentioned Lucy Liu and stuff, and I guess we should mention Wanda is back. The Wanda Film Festival is back as well within the programme. If you want to give it a little bit of love to that, but you know, give us something as you flick through the programme. Give us a little. It's an audio medium, listeners, but I can see Rose nodding. But what would be a little hidden gem?
Yeah, I am nodding. There's actually more than one hidden gem. Like it's so difficult to pick. That's a really difficult question because there are so many hidden gems, and I'm going to go through a few of them very quickly, if you don't mind.
No, far away.
One of them is a 23-hour film that we're showing over 4 days. It is called A Bunch of Questions with No Answers. That's all people just have to look that one up in the program, and I can't give you too much information. Well, I can. But it's a really fascinating film, and I urge people to see it. There's also Wanda, as you said. I also program the Wanda Film Festival with my friend Laura O'Connor, and we're kind of going back to the origins of Wanda, which was a film, if people know, by Barbara Loden. So we're showing another Barbara Loden film because she was also an actor, and she is in a film called Fade In that we're showing, and that stars her and Burt Reynolds. And it is about a woman who's a film editor, and she goes to edit this movie, and she falls in love with this cowboy.
Are you telling me a woman falls in love with Burt Reynolds?
Yes.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Fictionally, who wouldn't? I mean, I love, Burt, R.I.P., but I love Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, I know, actually, he was great. And then I also have, there's a film in the program that I can't really say anything about because I think it would just be a spoiler, and it's called Surat, and it's going to be on in the QFT, and it is a crazy film, but it is brilliant. It's just a surprising film. It's really loud. Joan in the QFT has told me that we can play it really loud. We're going to turn up the volume, and it's
to
all
quote
about
Spinal
the sound.
Tap. You're going to put it to 11. You're going to go, yeah.
And so basically we're going to play it really loud, and it's these beautiful vistas of the Moroccan landscape, and it's an amazing film. It's an experience for sure. And I would just say, just give that one a go,
Okay. So that's all great choices, Rose. It looks like you have another one, no?
Well, I kind of do. I'm terrible. It's gone out of my head. There was, the Battle of the Boyce. So this is every year at the festival, myself and Stuart Sloan, who actually is the programmer of Docs Ireland, but he is also an editor. And every year we work with the Northern Ireland Screens Digital Film Archive and BBC Northern Ireland to put together an audio-visual archive experience. And this year we're focusing on a figure called James Boyce, who was probably the most famous person in Northern Ireland at one point. He was on both the BBC and UTV when there were only two channels in the 1960s. And he is basically the focus of our audiovisual kind of sort of mashup this year. And it's called The Battle of the Boyce. So there you go. So that's another one.
Loads. I feel we've got through a lot of the programme, but there's still a lot we haven't. I would say to anybody, check out the festival's website, pick up the programme wherever you can get it around Belfast. And Rose, as we say, we're a few days before the opening night. You know, I don't want to say fingers crossed because I know it's going to be fab as always. Enjoy this year's programme. And just before we go, what can you tell us about Mark Cousins' film?
I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you. I mean, it just wouldn't be a secret screening if I told you, would it? So,
you know, you have to chance your arms sometime. Rose, thank you very much. And as I say, enjoy this year's festival. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's my interview with the lovely Rose Baker. Hopefully you enjoyed our chat about this year's festival. As we said, we can't get through the entire programme. There's just no way. It's so big. So my advice is have a look on the festival's website, pick up the programmes wherever you can, check out the social media channels. There will be something there for everyone. And if you don't think so, then you're just not looking hard enough. So that's pretty much me done for this episode. We're going to have a couple more episodes dedicated to the Belfast Film Festival. As we mentioned, it is its 25th year, so we're looking back and also looking at through this year's lineup. We hopefully will have some special guests. Who knows, maybe even the lovely Lucy Liu. So you've got those to look out for. I think I said at the very start, you have our Halloween special, a ramble edition as requested by the lovely Adam Neeson. That drops on Halloween night, wherever you get your podcasting fix. Check out the TV show as well. It's available on NVTV's YouTube page. Older episodes of the show are on our YouTube page as well. Have a look at the sexy new studio and wonderful new 6K cameras. Don't they make me look gorgeous? Yes, I will fool myself into believing that. And of course, check out our social media channels. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so you don't miss an episode. And our entire back catalogue is available on our YouTube channel as well. So that's enough of me selling my wares. I've been your host, Jim McLean. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back with another episode pretty soon.